And some drugs also excreted out through the air, means especially through the lung. Lung is an organ of absorption. At the same time, it's also an organ of excretion. So it acts as the dual. And gases and volatile liquids, general anesthetics, formaldehyde and alcohol, you see, ethyl alcohol, are eliminated by the lungs, irrespective of their lipid solubility. So the gases, especially the alcohol, general anesthetics, and formaldehyde, are eliminated by lungs. So whatever may be their absorbing nature. So alveolar transfer of the gas vapor depends upon its partial pressure in the blood. Once again, in the general what you call as anesthesia and other thing, you are going to learn what is a partial pressure and other thing. That's the capacity, inherent capacity of the gas which is going to enter through lungs. And lungs also serve to trap and extrude any particulate matter injected. So that's how the lungs act as the organ of absorption and organ of elimination. That's very, very important thing. Organ of absorption and organ of elimination. That's also one of the important thing to be noted. And lung has got very wide what you call as the absorptive surface when compared to the other organs. So that's why the general anesthetics and gaseous anesthetics, they get absorbed into the circulation. And here you can see the alveolar excretion, how it takes place, and some drugs are expelled in the expired gas, exhaled air, and volatile general anesthetics, maybe like ether, alcohol, and formaldehyde, they enter through the inspiration, exit through expiration. So you know how these, especially general anesthetics, are administered to the human patient. So a mask is prepared, a special mask, and using a machine like Boyle's apparatus, the gas is made to be entered inside the lung, and ultimately the animal get the anesthesia. So the drugs like especially alcohol can also be excreted in the expired air, and formaldehyde. Alcohol, it's important from the medico-legal perspective because presence of alcohol in the breath stamps that a person has jumped legal boundary. Means, so you know that traffic police persons are going to are always catching hold of some of the persons drunken and driving. That's why even though the alcohol is administered through oral route, the exhaled air contains lot of alcohol metabolites. So that is identified by the alcohol meter. So this is very important in case of the medico-legal aspect of over drunken and drive cases. So only 5% of the alcohol is excreted in the expired air. So in case of alcohol, even though it's not an important route, but it is important in the pharmacological or medical point of the view for diagnosis of the drunken drive cases, or the more and more alcohol drunken persons are caught by this particular meter. The next route of excretion is saliva and sweat. Both these things are the excretions of the body, and these are very minor but important for drug excretion. So minor importance is given because the major and number one route of excretion is urine, number two is by feces, three is by lungs, and four is by saliva and sweat. So what are all the drugs? The lithium. Lithium is given to the persons who are having some mental depression. Usually lithium is administered. Lithium bromide is administered to those patients who suffer from mental insufficiencies. And sometimes this potassium iodide. So many times the potassium iodide is given administered orally in diseases like actinomycosis or actinobacillosis. So these drugs are getting excreted through saliva and sweat. And thiocyanates, especially in cyanide poisoning, thiocyanate is a excretory product and it is excreted through saliva. Rifamycin, of course, it is excreted by many routes. The rifamycin and heavy metals are present in these secretions. So the salivary secretions contain many of these lithium, potassium iodide, thiocyanate and rifamycin. And most of the saliva along with the drug in it is swallowed and leads the same fate as orally taken drug. So here what happens is the drugs which are excreted through saliva, it's a salivary secretion. Usually one day about 80 liters of saliva is produced in case of a ruminant and that is totally swallowed. So because of this thing, once again it enters the gastrointestinal tract and becomes similar to that of the orally taken drugs. Apart from this one, the milk is another route of excretion of drug, but it's not so important, especially in case of human beings, because in case of animals, it's one of the important route of the excretion because the cow milk is consumed by the human beings and sometimes it is boiled or sometimes it is not boiled. In India, most of the milk produced from the cows are either boiled or pasteurized. So here there is no problem of what you call as the residues of certain drugs will come in the milk, especially the heavy metals, the residues and the antibiotics sometimes will also come in the milk. So the suckling infant inadvertently receives the drug. So yeah, especially in case of toxicities also, whenever the quantity of the drug is very, very high in the bloodstream, then it excreted through milk. So at that time, the suckling calf may also die due to the toxicity if the toxic concentration is more and more. That's how it becomes important. One example here is the Mimosa invisa. Mimosa invisa is a lush green plant. It is consumed by the cows and it is excreted in the milk and the cows are going to die even though they are not going to consume the Mimosa invisa. So that's one of the important example. And most of the drugs enter breast milk by passive diffusion. Passive diffusion, we know what are all the processes the drug is excreted out. As such, more lipid soluble and less protein bound drugs are thought better. More less lipid soluble. So see, many times the cow milk is containing about 4.5 to 5% fat. So in that time, the lipid soluble drugs get attached to the lipid moieties and get excreted. Whereas the plasma protein bound drugs are not free to be excreted. So they will not cross this blood milk barrier. And the more and more lipid soluble and less protein drugs are better concentrated in milk, and the basic drugs are more concentrated in the milk. Basic drugs are more concentrated in milk as in pH of the milk is acidic. So always please remember that if acidic media is there, basic drugs are excreted. If basic media is there, acidic drugs are excreted, and it's vice versa also. So basic drugs are more concentrated in the milk when compared to the acidic drugs because the pH of the milk is 6.8 to 7. It is less than neutral. So the drug administered to the mother enters breast milk through breast milk or the cow milk, reaches the breastfeeding infants and may produce the effect on the infant. And both are possible, but in case of the veterinary or profession, the drug administered into the cow gets excreted into the milk, cow milk, reaching the feeding infant or at the same time the feeding human beings and produce effect on the human beings if the quantity is more. Once again, it depends how much quantity of the drug is excreted in the milk. So certain drugs are contraindicated in lactation, means they should not be taken in lactating mothers. The number one is the radioactive iodine administered to the mother, especially for the diagnostic purpose, especially the thyroid gland dysfunction diagnosis. The radioactive iodine labeled radioactive substances are injected to the mother for the diagnosis purpose, and also then it reach the infant through the breast milk. So always fetal goiter will be caused because of the radioactive iodine destroys the thyroid gland of the fetus or damages it and cause fetal goiter. And avoid the chloramphenicol, tetracycline and sulfonamides. Chloramphenicol is one of the important drug in case of the veterinary practices. The reason being is it crosses all the barriers, maybe blood placental barrier, blood brain barrier and blood milk barrier. All these barriers are being passed by chloramphenicol sodium succinate. It is having very high plasma brown, at the same time high lipid soluble drug, and also tetracycline to some extent and sulfonamides. And ergotamine is a methyl ergometrin derivative, may cause ergometrin. It is getting secreted through the milk and cause the ergotism, a disease in which there is a narrowing of the capillary. And in case of claviceps purpurea is the one which produces the ergot alkaloids. So these ergot alkaloids enter the milk and cause ergotism in the offspring. Or if the human beings are ingesting the milk, then they also get the ergot alkaloids and cause the ergotism. Chloroquine, especially sometimes it's used as the drug for rheumatoid arthritis. Many times you may have the aged parents and other persons who may develop rheumatoid arthritis. Chloroquine is one of the drug, even though it's an anti-malarial drug, it is used for the rheumatoid arthritis, and this causes the retinal damage in the infant because it is getting secreted in the milk and gets accumulated in the retina of the infants and got the blindness. So one need to be careful. The ladies, especially if they are consuming the chloroquine during the pregnancy, and if they do have rheumatoid arthritis, then there is a chance that the fetus will get damaged through retinal damage. And most of the cytotoxic drugs are, especially the anti-cancerous drugs or chemotherapeutic agents, they are absolutely contraindicated in case of the lactating mothers or in case of the lactating cows. We should not administer because most of these drugs getting excreted out in the milk and may reach the consumer or the calf. Then the calf get damaged. So please remember this entire slide is concerned because here the examples of the drugs contraindicated in lactation is given. So active transporters with the drug across the tubules reduces concentration of its free form in the tubular vessels and promotes dissociation of protein bound drug, which again secreted from the other routes of excretion like the milk and other things. Thus, protein binding, which is a hindrance for the glomerular filtration of the drug, is not so to excretion by the tubular secretion. So, if the protein binding is more and more, it cannot get entered the what you call as the glomerular filtration and excretion by the tubular secretion. And now let us study about the kinetics of the elimination. Kinetics of the elimination. The knowledge of the pharmacokinetic of elimination of a drug provides the basis for as well as serve to devise rational dosage regimens and to modify them according to individual needs. So why we have to learn the kinetics means the movement pattern of a drug of the elimination, how much quantity of the drug is eliminated, how much is retained inside the body, how much is available at the site of the action. All these need to be learned very well because the knowledge of this kinetics means absorption, distribution, metabolism, etc. Well, in the elimination, especially the elimination, provides the basis for rational dosage assessment. How much quantity of the drug has to be administered to an individual, and it's a very tricky situation because if you administer more drug, it may reach this circulation and high quantity may be reached, but at the same time, it causes the tissue toxicity. So one need to be very careful while administering a drug. And the Paracelsus has told that all the substances in this earth or universe are toxic, and the dose is the one which differentiates a toxic or a poison or a remedy. Means here, if the dose is increased, then it causes the effect, more and more effect, but at the same time, it causes toxicity, and hence one should be very careful while fixing the dose of a chemical. Then another terminology comes here, which is the clearance. It is also noted by CL, which is the clearance. The clearance of the drug is the theoretical volume of plasma. Theoretical plasma, volume of the plasma from which the drug is completely removed in a unit time. So the analogy is the creatinine, blood creatinine. Creatinine is the one substance which is produced from the muscular exercises. It's a byproduct, and it's going to be excreted through the nephrons. If there is a damage of the nephrons or kidney, then the concentration of the creatinine in the blood is going to increase. That's the indicator of renal damage. So the clearance of a drug is the theoretical volume of the plasma from which the drug is completely removed in the unit time. This is totally impossible. The drug cannot be completely removed in the unit time. But you can imagine that the creatinine is completely removed from the body in 1 hour. That's known as the clearance. And for the majority of the drugs, the processes involved in elimination are not saturated or the clinically obtained concentrations, especially most of the drugs.